Good evening. We're going to call to order the Peabody City Council Subcommittee of Legal Affairs. Joining us tonight are committee members, Councilors McGinn, O'Neill, Sasla, and Turco. We also have Councilor Welton, Councilor Gould, Councilor Mitsoulas, Councilor Manning Martin, and Councilor Rosignol. Also joining us is Brendan Callahan and Maggie Brown from the Greenbelt. Tonight's subject is the CPA open space properties and conservation restrictions. You should all have that in your packets. I'm going to first, Brendan, would you like to give us a quick summary on what this is about?
Sure, no problem. Hey everybody, Brendan Callahan, Assistant Director of Planning. So we are trying to get City Council to grant the conservation restrictions. We have 6 parcels that need conservation restrictions that we need to record at the Registry of Deeds. Essentially, we have, as a CPA community, we have been utilizing those funds to acquire open space properties. And one of the steps that I don't think we've missed it on every single open space property, but several of them, or these 6, where you need to, as part of the CPA requirements, you need to record as conservation restriction. So these 6 didn't have them. And this was something I think been working on for a few years, but they never were really able to kind of get it done. And what really triggered this to get this done was a park grant that we got a few years ago to acquire 24 College Street. As one of the requirements through the park grant is all your open space CPA properties have to have conservation restrictions on them. So they still gave us the money with the and the city's good faith of saying we will record these. So it's kind of cleaning up something that hadn't been addressed for several years, and so that's what we're working with Essex County Greenbelt. They are one of the few agencies that can actually be the grantee, I believe, for the conservation restriction, and so we've been working with them on drafting the conservation restrictions. We've also been working very closely with Darren Kelly on the CPC committee, as well as the CPC committee members, and they were all critical in providing feedback and input on the draft restrictions. So they went through a few drafts, and then once they were sort of finalized, we sent those to the state, and then the state reviewed them, and then they gave us additional comments, which we then incorporated or addressed and incorporated into the final draft conservation restrictions. Then those went back to, and then so now they're basically final. And now what we need to do is just execute them with getting the council president's signature, then we get the mayor's signature, and then we send them back to the state. The state signs off on them. They send them back to us. Then we record them at the Registry of Deeds. So that's kind of it. That's kind of what we're here for. If you have any questions on each restriction or the parcels, I'm here. Essex County Greenbelt is here if you have any comments for them or questions for them. So
Thank you, Brendan. It sounds like there's quite a bit of oversight on this, so appreciate that. Any questions from members of the committee? Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with Mr. Callahan's summary of the situation. I think he captured it quite well. The only addition to that I would make is that in addition to the individuals and entities that reviewed these, they were also reviewed by the city solicitor's office. So it has had full legal vetting as well from the city's perspective. And Mr. Callahan mentioned the number 6 several times. I think the actual number is 7, right? So
That's right, because one parcel is broken into like two parcels, I
Right,
believe.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So just in terms of what we're actually have before us, it's 7 individual parcels. So I am fully supportive of this. I have reviewed them in detail. It was one of the ones that kind of worked as part of a subcommittee working group of CPC to kind of vet these things from a CPC perspective. And I can see that Mr. Kelly, who's the chair of the CPC, is also here on Zoom and played a very active role in this whole thing. So from my perspective, I'm fully supportive of this, and when the time comes, Mr. Chairman, I'd be prepared to make a motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McGinn. Any other, Councilor Manny Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just through you, to Mr. Callahan, some of these properties go back to an acquisition of like 2002. So why wouldn't there be, or is there a requirement before or at the time of acquisition of the property for use of CPA funds?
That's even before my time. I don't know why they weren't properly recorded, but I could say it would, I think it was just a step that was missed. I don't know. But if you look at the deeds, all the deeds had language in them that said that there was a conservation restriction on them. But that wasn't enough. It doesn't bring it to the next level of what the CPA actually requires. And that's what we're doing here tonight. So I don't know why it was never recorded properly, or that step was missed, but that's why we're here. And there was a lot of effort to figure that all out and figure out what the parcels were, what the deed language was, and what needed to be done. So, but
I guess I'm just curious. Maybe the representative from Essex County Greenbelt may have more experience with this, or perhaps Darren Kelly. Is there a step? I just want to ensure that we do have a step. If it was missed, it was missed. But I guess my point being, let me just finish, please. My point being, if there wasn't a mechanism, will we instill a mechanism so that this doesn't happen again in the future?
Yes,
I'm not looking for blame. I'm looking for, is there a step and we just need to follow it?
That was definitely discussed with the CPC, with Darren, and we had said, okay, now that we're kind of cleaning this up, let's not let this happen again. And then when the city, what has been proposed, nothing official yet, but what has been proposed or discussed is part of the CPA application, and when we're acquiring open space properties, to include kind of a box or a question that that the trust, the land trust that can then hold the conservation restriction has been identified, and so it just that way everybody knows that's a step that needs to occur.
Okay. So there isn't a step now, and again, maybe some advice from Essex County Greenbelt, because I'm going to surmise that in working with them, they probably identified it and, are requiring it and pointing it out. So as long as it's been identified and then we have a mechanism moving forward that we don't find ourselves in this situation, that's all I'm pointing out. And
okay.
If you could share, or maybe Darren Kelly could share that, that's what they're doing. That's all I'm suggesting.
Does anybody from the Essex County Greenbelt, or does Mr. Kelly have anything to add? Or I know Brendan had just explained that it's something they're going to check off going forward. Is there anything else to be added to that?
I can add from my part that this was flagged by the state from the time that the park grant was applied for, and then Greenbelt was sought out as the holder of the conservation restrictions as one of the eligible entities in the area to do that. So I think it's a great point to have a system in place for the future, which will make it a lot easier going forward. But it's not something that Greenbelt has imposed.
Thank you. Any other councilors have any questions or comments? Seeing none, Councilor McGinn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I would just add that we are very fortunate to have Essex, the high-quality organization that Essex County Greenbelt is, to work with us on this. They've got just a tremendous depth of experience on this, as I think you heard just a small sampling of that a moment ago. But they do this all over the county, as the name implies, and we're really fortunate to be able to turn to them to address this specific requirement, which is very clearly called out in Mass General Law. So with that, I would move to approve the CPC opens strike that. Move to approve the CPA conservation restrictions as indicated on communication from His Honor the Mayor dated September 18th, 2020, specifically map 107 lot 012, the Maquetto property, map 106 lot 027, Valley Circle land purchase, map 120 lot 193, map 120 lot 191, map 115 lot 135, Tilly's Farm, map 083 lot 007A, Scouting Woods, map 063 lot 094, 0 Grandview Avenue, right-of-way of Salem and Lowell Branch, beginning at westerly sideline of Endicott Street, also referred to as the Bikeway, and map 100 lot 062A, map 100 lot 062, which is 182 Linfield Street, and that the City Council President sign such conservation restrictions memorializing the approval by the City Council. So moved.
The committee heard the motion from Councilor McGinn. Roll call vote.
Councilor Sasslaw?
Yes.
Turco?
Yes.
O'Neill?
Yes.
McGinn?
Yes.
Melville?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, I just want to thank the members of the Greenbelt, Mr. Kelly and Brendan Callahan, for coming tonight. Thank you for enlightening us on this and for getting ahead on this and cleaning some of it up and getting ahead on other portions of it. I really appreciate your time and effort tonight, and thanks for coming. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Roll call vote.
Councilor Sasslaw?
Yes.
Turco?
Yes.
O'Neill?
Yes.
McGinn?
Yes.
Melville?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.